WCASA Social Media Podcast Series, Episode 2, Twitter. I'm Stephen Montagna, the Violence Prevention Communications Coordinator for the Wisconsin Coalition Against Sexual Assault. In this ongoing series looking at social media, we wanted to look at one of the other services, Twitter. And what is Twitter exactly? Well, that's kind of funny to ask because Twitter has become so ubiquitous. It's everywhere these days. You see tweets being mentioned on the evening news, even quoted on the Today Show. Celebrities are tweeting, newscasters are tweeting, and even news is breaking via Twitter. But you may not have used it yourself. So Twitter is basically a micro-communication modality. What does that mean? It means it's a combination of SMS texting, which is just like texting, text with your cell phone, mobile phone. It's sort of like instant messaging. It can function like email. And in a way, it effectively is like having a blog or like blogging. In fact, Twitter is often referred to as microblogging because your tweet stream, your collection of tweets, your posts, effectively end up being like a blog that people can go back and review. Of course, it's micro because a tweet is no more than 140 characters. Why? Really, who knows why? When the creators put together Twitter, they intended it to be a very succinct, very direct communication approach. And so they just set that limit on it so that people wouldn't be too verbose. It was meant to sort of say what you want and get out. So this is effectively 140 characters, and that's what you get. And that can seem limiting, and it can be limiting. At the same time, it can be really amazing what people can accomplish in those 140 characters, and we'll hopefully see some examples of that. Okay, so to use Twitter, you have to sign up for an account. It's completely free, but you go to twitter.com, and you can see here, if you're new, you can create a new account by giving a name, email, and password. And then you subsequently create a username. Now, when you create a username, you may want to think, are you tweeting on behalf of your organization or yourself? If you're doing it for the organization, are you using the organization's name? Are you using your role within that organization? So, for instance, like for myself, the shortcut of VPCC for my title. Or a sort of hybrid of the two, which is what I chose to do when I created my Twitter account for WCASA, which is WCASA_VPCC. You can use underscore, you can use dash, and a few other special characters, so you have some ways of creating some combinations. This is, in fact, how you reach me via Twitter or view my Twitter stream. So the other thing you have to decide when creating an account is whether to be public or private. Public is the default. And that simply means that your content is out there. It's searchable. If someone's looking through Bing or Google, they can find content in your tweets. Anyone can follow you. Versus private, which is something you select to do. It's optional. It means that whatever you post on Twitter will not be searchable, and it also means that no one can follow you without your prior approval. Now, why would you want to do either of those? Generally, especially from the organizational perspective, you'd be using Twitter to announce or publicize events, connect with membership or the general public. So you'd want your stuff to be out there as public. But you could also use a separate Twitter account privately between staff. So staff could have Twitter accounts that they only allow each other to follow, and that means they could do instant communication between each other's computers or smartphones, and have it be just like directly emailing someone and or pushing out a text. Speaking of which, what can you actually do with this? Well, as I mentioned, you can post, and those are referred to as tweets. 140 characters. What are you up to? Where are you at? What are you doing? What are you thinking about? What are you reading that's interesting to you, etc. You follow other people, and sometimes you see something that they posted that's really interesting. You repost or share it, which is referred to as retweeting. Or you can direct message someone that you are following. And that is effectively like email. The message only goes to them, is only viewable by them, and they have a chance to reply to you. And you may also share links to other content elsewhere on the web. This could be if you read an interesting article and you want to share it with your membership. It could also be if you have an event coming up and you have information about that event on your organization's website and you want to make sure that event gets a little extra publicity. You can push the link to that event out via Twitter. The other thing is that you can mention folks. So Twitter uses the @ tag, the tag we all know or the character we all know from email. So we use that in association with your username or someone else's username. So for instance, if you and I were following each other on Twitter and you said something of interest, I might make a tweet that started with @ and then your username, and that would not only be a mention for you, which means in your Twitter stream you'd actually see it show up as my tweet would show up there because I mentioned you, but also anybody following me and seeing my tweet could click on your username in there and it would instantly link them to your Twitter account, to your Twitter stream, and they could see information about you, whatever you decided to put up there, and or to see the tweets that you would put up there. So this is a static image of what Twitter looks like, and let's just go ahead and move over into Safari in this case, and there's my live Twitter page. So this, shows the tweets that I've posted, and you can see that highlighted items show up here in blue, and they are links. And so the other tagging besides mentioning someone with the @ tag, and I'm just scrolling through here to see if well, here's one. One of the senator from Maryland, who I was thanking that person, her, for voting on and supporting VAWA, right, through the legislative process in the Senate. So because she has a Twitter account, I was able to go ahead and link to her, so she'll see that mention in her stream, and now anybody can click on this and it would take us to her page. The other thing I've done in here is what's called hashtagging. This little pound sign is a hashtag. It means anything you put after that hashtag, any single word or group of letters, will become a tag, and it becomes something that becomes searchable. So when VAWA, even as we record this, VAWA is still up for vote in the House. When it was up for vote in the Senate, and there was a lot of active lobbying, people were using this hashtag, and it meant that, and I'll just show you, if you click on this, what I'm getting is not my Twitter stream. I'm actually getting a combination of tweets of anybody who posted and had that tag, placed that tag in their tweet. So you'll get an ongoing conversation around that topic. It can be very, very handy. Same thing was done an awful lot during Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and you see the SAM tag there, right? So the other thing, I did sort of show you hashtags. I can look at people who are following me. These are people who've elected to follow me. And there's Oprah at the top of the list. Woohoo! Of course, you get people following you often because you start following them, and or you follow someone and you see all the people that they're following or that are following them, and you think, hey, I want to know what those people are up to. So it's a really great way to cross-pollinate and network and find people who are doing things similar to you. If you're wanting to be in touch with what's happening in the media, a lot of your local media, newspaper, television stations, radio, I bet you money that they're already on Twitter. You can find them usually through their websites. They'll have a link to their Twitter account. Those are people who I'm following, that is, I'm following Oprah, not the other way around. These are my followers, these are the people who are following me. And again, a lot of whom, because I follow them, people who work in violence prevention or have an interest in violence prevention in some way, shape, or form. Now again, I don't necessarily control this. People just elect to follow me. However, if there's someone who is questionable, maybe someone who's following me because they're trying to push some spam links, trying to harass me in some way, I do actually, you'll notice, have the ability to block this person or even to report them to Twitter for activity that I think is suspicious. The other thing you'll notice here is that I have the ability to add or remove them from lists. Well, what are those? Well, lists, which I'll find this link over on the side here, Lists allow you to not get overwhelmed, but to group people into categories. So, for instance, I have 15-member national orgs list here, and that allows me to group all of the national violence prevention organizations that I follow into one list. So maybe I just want to scroll through and see what's happening there, one day. So that's sort of a way of helping to manage this stuff a little bit. You notice I also have a Madison one, so these are for local people. They may or may not be people who are directly involved in violence prevention. They may be media outlets, they may be friends, and a separate list for all of the coalitions, and then a general one for violence prevention. So another thing real quick to show you is that in addition to accessing the your Twitter stream and posting, and in fact, why don't I just go ahead real quick and compose a post, which, notice this little feather pen icon up here, and I can just say happy to finally, be recording episode 2 of our social media podcast series, which is on dash what Twitter. All right, and you may notice that as I've been typing there, this little counter here has been counting down, and that's because it's actually taking into account how many characters. It's showing me there that I've typed, of the 140 characters that I've got at my disposal, I now have 26 left. You'll also notice that I can indeed add an image, or I could add my location. Now, from a safety perspective, I must advise I don't necessarily use this at all. I don't think people really need to know my location for various reasons. And again, if you're advising survivors on the use of Twitter, that's something that may end up compromising their safety if it's someone involved in an ongoing situation or a domestic violence situation, certainly. So you just want to be careful. But anyway, that's my tweet, and I'm just going to hit tweet, and we'll see it appear instantly, and it's now out there, and it even tells me it was just a few seconds ago that it was posted. Now, in addition to posting and viewing my tweets and my followers and everything through here, I can also access Twitter stuff through a variety of applications. And these are applications both on my computer and even on smartphones and other portable devices, tablets, iPad, iPhone, iPod, etc. But I'm going to show you one that I like to use a lot called Hootsuite. Now, this is a web-based one, and you'd say, well, why on earth would you want to use a web-based application? Isn't that the same as being logged into the Twitter website? Yes and no. The nice thing about Hootsuite, which is also free at the basic level. They have other bells and whistles that you can pay for, but I've never felt the need to do that. The basic functionality, what's great about it is you'll notice that I can actually, from this one window, monitor multiple Twitter accounts. So in fact, I have a personal account. I have one for a side advising business I do. I have one for Men Stopping Rape, which is my violence prevention organization I've belonged to for over 20 years. And of course, my WCASA VPCC account. So, you may sound crazy. Why would you want more than one Twitter account? Again, for various reasons. You may want to tweet personally and have that be separate from your professional identity. You may, again, set up different Twitter accounts if you want to have a private one and interact directly with colleagues versus having something public that you interact with your membership or with the public at large. And the nice thing about Hootsuite is not only can I see multiple accounts, but within that account, I can see multiple aspects of that stream. So here's my main feed, and we'll see right here, looky there, is that tweet that I just made seconds ago. But I can also have a separate window here, or I should say column, just for the tweets that I sent. If I wanted to, I could have separate, you'll see I have separate columns here for some searches that I've saved. So here's an ongoing conversation about Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Here's ongoing conversation about Denim Day, etc. And, whoops, the other thing you'll notice is I did scroll past here. Here are pending tweets. Well, what is a pending tweet? What Hootsuite allows you to do is to schedule a tweet. So I could actually put tweet content in here and then actually schedule this tweet to not go out until, whenever, say May 31st, and I could even select it to go out at a certain time. And then I would associate it with a particular account if I had more than one account. And then when I would hit send or schedule, it would actually schedule that tweet, and I would see that in this pending tweets column. This is very handy if you've got a string of events, like say during Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and you can do a bunch of the tweeting up front. You can actually pre-program or schedule tweets to go out on the day of the event, and you can do all of that up front and then forget about it. And Hootsuite will automatically push that tweet out at the prescribed date and time, and you can even tell it to send you an email to let you know that that tweet has gone out. Very, very handy. Another last thing real quick about linking. Another nice thing is that you'll notice that there's this add link button, and if I click in there, I could paste a link into my tweet. Now, I could also just click anywhere and paste it, but when you're pasting links, you'll notice that web addresses can get very, very long, right? So if I'm at WCASA, I might be at WCASA. I'm just going to grab that. So this is our About Us jobs page. And whoops, I'm just going to select all and copy that. And let's say I wanted to paste that into my tweet. Well, fine, that's good, but notice that that takes up a fair number of characters, not 96, but 96 minus, or 140 minus 96. So it's taking up a chunk of my real estate. Well, a lot of these applications, Hootsuite being one of them, have instant access to what are called web shrinking services, or URL shrinkers. And this will take this URL, this web address, and it will shrink it down. So I'll go ahead and click that, and you'll notice that it's using the OWLY service. It's the OW.ly. But it's taken that and created this very short link, which now only knocks not even 20 characters off my 140 character limit here, right? And that link basically will be relayed through the OWLY service. So I can now go on and write the rest of my tweet, and then when people read my tweet, they can click on that link, and it will take them to this page, actually, to this WCASA jobs page. So let's just go back real quick here. We already covered applications. I'm not going to show you Tweety, but this is another one on the Mac side. There's TweetDeck, which is cross-platform. As I mentioned before with Facebook, just, when you're thinking about Twitter and how you might use it, be mindful. If you're going to do it organizationally, who is going to do it? How often are they going to do it? And again, this is going to bring up issues. You're going to get possibly comments or replies from survivors. You're going to get people making possibly ugly comments back at you, comments from abusers. How do you want to handle all of that? What's a policy for blocking people, etc.? So to learn more about any of this stuff, certainly feel free to contact me and or see some of the resources available on our social media site, or our social media page, which is part of the media section of the WCASA.org website. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have questions, and we'll look forward to episode 3. Thanks.